Good morning, everybody. We are back. Glad to be back. It's been a minute. Hope you're doing well. So today we're heading over to Dublin, doing a return service from Gatwick. Gatwick to Dublin, back to Gatwick. The main reason is that I wanted to get some time under my belt in the Fenix A320. It's still an aircraft that gives me a little bit of trouble, which is really surprising given how much we flew the A320X by fly-by-wire. I mean, that was like the default aircraft for the channel for a number of months, and yet moving to the Fenix just totally flipped everything on its head. So we're going to get some more Fenix time under our belt today. I was tempted to do VATSIM, but again I looked on the map and it was like nothing online. And then I thought, actually I want the focus of today to be the Fenix rather than me ruining everything on VATSIM. Which is kind of why actually I did the poll this morning, because of course UK time in the evening is basically prime time for VATSIM, and I'm very aware that that is kind of when I should be doing a lot more content creation. Not saying I'm going to give up this slot, but maybe it's something we can add in as well. So just curious whether any of the morning folk would join as well. Oh, Nebula, good morning. I would watch, but I'm asleep during UK evening time. Gotcha. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, like I say, we got a lot of people in different time zones, so exactly. Bevy, good morning. Mackham, good morning to you. How you doing, sir? Hope you're doing all right. Andrew would watch it live and then watch on record when not available. VATSIM makes it more real. Yeah, it does. It does. I feel... So what it is, I started a new job in August, and I was really excited because the schedule of the new job was, it gives me Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, which is great. And I thought, sweet, I've got like 2 solid days. Can you hear me now? That better? Give us a little message in chat if you can hear me now. I can tell you exactly what it is. It's Nvidia Broadcast doing its thing. I must remember to thank it for that. JJ muted 2.0. Do I remember? I remember you coming into a stream last time and asking the same question. So, what was I saying? I've got 2 mornings. Let me go back, because I think I basically cut out like 2 minutes of rambling there. So, what it is, started a new job in August, and I was really excited because I kind of got two days off that fall on a Tuesday and a Wednesday during the week. So I was really excited. I was like, I got 2 good days to like stream on the channel. But of course VATSIM is like a ghost town really during the day. So it's kind of like, on one hand it's really good because I got the time, and on the other hand it's like it's not the most effective time to have. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate on that front. So I'm thinking maybe if I can retain this morning stream, maybe do like a stream like we used to, sort of maybe till lunchtime-ish, then work on the channel in other ways from lunchtime until kind of when it's time to get kids from school and stuff, and then maybe start picking up the VATSIM in the evenings that way. I think it'll be better for the channel that way. I really do. That's the plan anyway. That's the plan. It just seems a bit of a shame, like we've got this time, but it's not the most effective time because it's like it's not the most VATSIMable time, which is a bit of a shame. But then in the evening, like you look at the VATS, go on map.vatsim.net, and it just absolutely like lights up the everything's online, everything's buzzing, and I kind of feel like that's when I want to be there. The only issue there is that of course it'll be nighttime here in the UK, and I don't like flying in the dark. So what I might do is fly on VATSIM, fly with live weather, but roll the time back so we've got daylight. Because of course the sim almost conveniently doesn't do historical weather. So that's kind of to our advantage because we can fly with live weather and simply just roll the clock back. So that's the plan anyway. That is the plan. What I'm going to do, guys, I just need to quickly shut Nvidia broadcast down. I hope I can do it without turning the stream off. It's just causing me a little bit of a headache at the moment. It's saying that my encoder is overloaded, which is never good. Let me just kill the display a minute, that'll help. 2 seconds, alright? Right. Nvidia broadcast is gone. Guys, you still there? Is the stream still up? Because my sim has just crashed the desktop. Alright, booting the sim back up. Let me know if we are still live in the chat, if you would. We're still here. Good. Okay, so the stream didn't die with the... Right, sim is now booting up. So basically Nvidia Broadcast decided to ruin everything. For those that don't know, Nvidia Broadcast is the system I use to clean up my microphone. It's really clever. It's really clever stuff. It uses the AI tensor cores to basically take your microphone feed and any other noise that isn't my voice, it just gets rid of. And it's so clever. But sometimes it interferes with OBS, which is my streaming software, and the sim. So the sim runs like garbage and OBS comes up saying my encoder is overloaded. Remove Nvidia Broadcast removes the problem. So you just got a clean feed of my mic, which means like any little bang on the microphone stand or the desk you're going to hear, but whatever. We'll have to roll with it. I need to become a big time streamer, don't I, and have a dedicated streaming PC, so I don't have to worry about these issues. Might not be the worst idea, in fairness. Let the gaming PC just chew on the game and let the streaming PC stream on the game and all the graphical overlays and the Nvidia broadcast on the mic and all that stuff. That might not be the worst idea. That might not be the worst idea. I suppose I could have all of my like chart stuff on the streaming PC as well. Yeah, there's an idea. That's an idea. I'm considering a new PC in the new year, put it that way. So the question is, do I sell my existing PC to part fund it, or do I keep it and then demote it to a streaming PC? What does one do? Don't know. A streaming PC could have its own complications and issues as well, of course. So it's like it's not a silver bullet. The whole sentence scares you about running to... Yeah. And also twice the power bill, let's not forget. Sadly, on the 1st of November, we came off of our legacy energy tariff. Because we did one of those things years ago where like we locked our price for like 5 years. And I remember at the time being like, oh, I'm not sure that's a good idea because what if it goes cheaper? Anyway, I got talked into it. Turned out it was a really good thing. Flipping lucky or what? But now we're paying the same rates as everyone else, which is to say extortionate rates, so... Yay. Sorry my sim's taking so long to load. Ever since adding... I think it was GSX that did it. As soon as I added GSX, it would take... Oh, here we go. It just takes so flipping long to load. Yeah, twice the heat frug as well, that's it. And I've already gone to some significant effort to remove the heat of my current PC. Although when it's just sat there streaming, it should be... I know streaming in itself is quite intensive, but if you use your Nvidia GPU to do it using NVENC, that is kind of dedicated silicon on the chip to do the encoding. All right, Gatwick. Let's go. All right, where were we? Let's go over here. Gate 17, departure, fly. Yeah, so it's not like you've got an Intel CPU that is just inefficiently brute forcing and chewing away at encoding, because it can do it, but it just like absolutely chews away at it like big time. Massively chews away at it. But the silicon on the Nvidia GPU is purpose designed to encode video. It's rubbish at everything else, but it can encode video until the cows come home, so it can do it very energy efficiently. Which makes sense. I mean, Apple are doing the same thing. You look at their like M1 chips, all of their encoding abilities and video this and video that. Let's get the jetway on, shall we? There we go. We're back. It's almost like that whole thing never happened. Is this a Carson stream? Freak, I've got no idea what that means. I'm not going to lie. There we go. So what have we got in with us today? Got a couple of ATRs. The 737 over there. Oh my word. My FPS. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Is that an A330? EasyJet tail over there. Very good. Badger! Morning, how you doing? Not doing bad, thanks, Badger. Just getting started here with Let's check the FPS. It's going to be bad, isn't it? I don't know. It's not too bad. I've seen it worse. Oh, is this a VATSIM stream? No, Frug. We were just talking about this earlier. So I'm thinking of trying to stream a bit more in the evenings, UK time, because I don't know what VATSIM's up to now, but when I looked a few moments ago, it's like there was nothing. There's absolutely nothing on. So, yeah. On one hand, it's a little bit of a shame because I kind of started a new job that gives me the Tuesday and the Wednesday to work on the channel and stream, but on the other hand, it's kind of the wrong time of day to be useful for VATSIM because, like, UK evening time, I mean, VATSIM is just alive, which is great. So maybe we start doing a little bit more in the evenings. Right, let's get some batteries on, shall we? And we'll do the old external power. So today really isn't about VATSIM. Today is I'm just trying to get somewhere near decent in the A320 from the Fenix. It just boggles my mind that we spent so long in the A32NX and we got pretty good in that, and then it's like it all got taken away as soon as we went to the Fenix. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's get our navs on because of course that's going to need a minute to align, isn't it? Right, let's use the EFB. There we go. Gatwick to Dublin. Oh, Macam, I used your Dublin joke last week. We had a VATSIM control room with us, and I couldn't resist. I think I said it was one of the worst jokes I'd ever heard, but I'm sure they didn't mean it. So what have we got on? GPU on, chocks are on. It's all good. So we've actually got more fuel by default than we need. Cargo is pretty light and 123 passengers. I find it weird that the plane spawns with stuff in it already. Okay, let's load the aircraft. There we go. We'll do it fast. 6 minutes should be alright. In the meantime, should we get some cargo on the go? Or catering, I should say.
Vehicles are on their way.
Must be the way you tell it, Macam, that makes it funnier. I think maybe my delivery was a bit off. Oh, here they come, look. The quickest and also slowest vehicles in the world. It's like, oh, stop. So janky, honestly. Here they come. Reset all and reload the... Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. I find GSX weird. It's kind of like we could do the whole fueling thing now, but of course it's just there's no point because the plane is fueled. But I guess we could just sit and watch it. I don't know. It just seems weird. It just seems weird to me. I don't know. Okay. Yikes! Look at that. Let's jump down here and have a look. So there we go, ATSU, AOC. Then flight init data request. It's weird, I feel like I forget this stuff. I feel like we've been flying a lot of Boeing. And you do forget. You absolutely do forget. Lovely, let's go to init. Initialize weights. So what I don't know if any of you've noticed, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but most of the time my flight numbers are just so generic and like nothingy. So I'll generally take NOT from air not, and just put like the model of the aircraft we're flying. So today it's 320, like the other day it's 330 because we're in the headwind. I'll do 737 in the Boeing, you know, whatever. So I'm starting to work on a website. As luck would have it, I used to... Cheers, Baguette. As luck would have it, I used to work as a web developer. So I kind of know what I'm doing, although I haven't done it in years. So I'm having to relearn everything. But yeah, fortunate that I can get a website off the ground that should hopefully be pretty decent and not have to pay anyone to do it or use one of those awful template builder things. But part of the website is I want to kind of have a section for you guys where we kind of publish some like routes that are kind of considered to be like air not routes, and then you can download the deliveries and either you do what you want. You can just like fly on VATSIM with deliveries, doing one of our suggested routes, or you can just not. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, I figured it might be a nice little community effort if we kind of decide between us on what some of the routes should be. I kind of figure we'll hub out of the UK, so probably like Gatwick or Manchester, and then go to various destinations across Europe. I mean, that's kind of what I consider to be like my my stomping ground, if you like. How loaded are we? We're nearly there, look. Nearly there. Yeah, that's it, Malcolm. It's going to be for the channel. Okay, let's get APU on, APU master on. Let's arm the no smoking lights, and the emergency lights. Oxygen. Why is it FMC glitching out? I just want to fly. Yeah, it wouldn't be fun if it all worked though, would it? Yeah, so far, Malcolm, the idea is that we'll have a bit of a homepage. It introduces what we do, what it's all about. Then we'll have a page where I kind of do a rundown of all my gear. I will shamelessly plug affiliate links to Amazon, so maybe I can get a bit of income through that. And then we'll have a fly with us page where we can sort of list our routes and what planes we would use for those routes, whether it's cargo, passengers, yeah, downloads for the different liveries for the planes that we use for the fleet. And I wanted to have a page for just to sort of like extend a bit of an olive branch to, you know, developers or whatever that are maybe like making something for the sim and maybe would want to, you know, we could help share their idea. You know, whether it's like beyond ATC or you know, whatever it is, like just a page where it's like, hey, we're here. If you want to get your product in front of some flight simmers, reach out, kind of thing. That's the idea anyway. We'll see how it goes. Boarding complete. Yay. Yeah, I mean, part of me is tempted by the whole... Yeah, don't worry, Bevy, I'll put that in the footer. That's what I'll put in the footer. It's all Bevy's fault. Copyright 2023. All rights reserved. Right, what am I doing? Cost index. So I've got the weights all sorted. That's looking good. Departure? Honestly, I'm forgetting what I'm doing here. So we're taking off from 26 left, I believe. Sync the load sheet. Sync the weather. Go on, let's calculate that. Never say never, Frug. Never say never. Right, where do I get my cost index? I've forgotten. Oh man, why am I being so stupid? It's got to be in here, right? My flight. Mass and balance. I was going to get it from SimBrief. $21. Thank you, SimBrief. Cruising at 33,000 feet today. At least that's what SimBrief reckons. There we go. Good, let's go to flight plan. Gatwick, departing, 26 left. Cheers, Malcolm. Go easy, mate. I'm going to use a Nova 1 mic. Departure. Whoops, gone past it. What other planes have you flown in the sim other than the A320? So usually we fly a combination of the fly-by-wire A320nx, so that's an A320neo. We've got the, obviously this one, the Fenix A320. We've got the Boeing 737-800, and we fly quite a bit of the, well, not quite a bit, but occasionally we fly the A330-900neo by Headwind. Hey, 707's in. Nice to see you. To see you, nice. Who was it who said that? That's Brucey, wasn't it? Good old Brucey. We're going to do ILS 28 left because I think 28 right doesn't exist on my scenery. Albie 3L. I'm going to go via pizza. Hey, morning, Brian. So I didn't notice you there, Brian. Your profile picture from a distance looks very similar to Bevy's. Alright, let's just check through our route a moment. Okay, so out of Gatwick. Above 2.5, above 3. Stay at 4,000. That seems quite low. Okay. 4,000. And away we go. And then in the little classic shape into Dublin. We can maybe take a shortcut, but see how we're doing. There's no real... We're in no rush, we're just chilling. Everyone's in too much of a hurry. Okie dokie, let's... I need to do performance stuff now, don't I? Weights, 0 fuel weight. Okay, so we're going to do 55.8, 30.3. 55.8 slash 30.3. Is that a dog, Brian? I can't quite make it out. obviously when I look at my chat, I've just got a tiny, tiny little circle. And I kind of recognise people mostly from the colours in the picture. It's a bit weird. It looks like a dog from a distance. Hello, Nick. Welcome on in. It's alright, plenty of time to go yet. I'm still making a mess of setting the aircraft up because I haven't done the Fenix in ages. Whoops. Okay, what's going on over here then? So, if we go to the performance, it's going to be like 10 o'clock at night before I get back, isn't it? 131, 131, 134. Transition 6000. 2/DN 0.1. I've got that right, haven't I? Yeah. 68. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Laying outside in the sun. The dog's got the right idea. It amazes me how little my dog does. Like on like today and Wednesday, which is kind of like my days off from work to do this, I always kind of feel like I should go and like do something with the dog. The dog's just like completely asleep. It just looks at me like, what are you doing? Go away. I don't need you, just go away. Okay, local pressure is 1009. Good. Let's go up top here and get fuel pumps on, because we are fueled and we are loaded. APU start. Other than that, we're not looking too bad. So we're just waiting for the APU start to become available. In the meantime, we can get rid of this jetway, can't we? Because A, it's in completely the wrong place. Oh, wait a minute, it already had disconnected. Hopefully the jetway's going to go now. Yeah, there it goes. So it was fine the first time, I just ruined it basically. APU bleed. So APU is now on, that's good. Bevy's never going to let me forget that. Right, we'll do 4,000 in the window because of course we've got some constraints. In fact, let's put our constraints on. Then we'll see them on the ND as we fly out. Very good. Right, what else am I forgetting? Just get the arm up. Assisted predictive wind shear on. Lock the door. Throttles are in the neutral position. Parking brake is on. Very good. Very good, very good, very good. Yeah, still here, Rob. Sorry, we're taking a minute. I haven't flown this one in a while. It's taken me a little second to get myself ready. Right, let's prepare for pushback. Frig, you already downloaded the whole thing, don't worry. Come on, Dave, Bevy's going to blackmail me with that.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Right, let's have a little look at charts. So load up Navigraph. Where are we flying today? Nick, we're going over to Dublin.
Departure check completed.
And then we're going to fly back to Gatwick. So we're in Gatwick at the moment. Going over to Dublin. Okay, let's get some ground charts. I always try and use my scroll wheel. Right, where is the actual aircraft chart? The airport chart. Guidance systems, takeoff.
Locking gear.
Briefing. Okay, so we're taking off on 2-6 left. Which is this one over here. And we are currently at stand 17, so we'll take Kilo, November, and then basically just jump on the runway. Nice and easy. So we're gonna want to go nose right, tail left. Let's get rid of the GPU.
Release parking brakes, please. Commencing push. All engines are clear. Start at will.
That is really weird. So now so that didn't work. So I was using my joystick controls then. Or at least I thought I was. Okay, now it's going. Okay, that's engine 1. Or engine 2 rather.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Okay, why isn't engine 1 starting? Now it goes. So I think there's something weird going on in my controls. It's like I have to do it twice, then it will do it.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Forgot to set seatbelt lights, my bad.
Unlocking the nose gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left
What's
is
flaps 2
clear.
today?
Right
Fair
is
enough.
clear.
Okay, let's get auto brake onto max. Come on, on you go. There we go. Spoilers. Takeoff config normal. Everybody ready? Alrighty. You set parking brake. What are you talking about? It's time for me to go. Yeah, and push back. I'll wait for that person to get out of the way. Well, it only took us like 45 minutes to get in the air. Or to get pushed back, rather. You really notice in the standard A320 how you've really got to give it some throttle to get it to move, unlike the massive engines on the 320neo. The 320neo is almost like an automatic car. If you just take your foot off the brake, it moves. Whereas this feels more like a manual, where you've got to give it a little bit of something to get it going. If you know what I mean. Okay, left turn onto November. Brakes work. Okay. I'm just going to hold short, sort our lights out. These rudder pedals feel very sensitive this morning. Very sensitive. Okay, lights are on. No white lights. Takeoff config remains normal. Let's get TCAS on so it doesn't yell at us. Alright, let's go and get lined up. Let's get over to Dublin. Okay. Everything's looking good. Let's go. So throttles. N1, hold it at 40% till they stabilise. Give it the beans. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Needed quite a considerable amount of rudder pedal on the way up there. Very nice too. Levers back into climb. Spoilers armed, or disarmed rather. Alright, levelling off at 4,000 feet. Retract the flaps. Autopilot engaged. Oh, no way, Rob. Yeah, there's a button I can press that I forgot to press. So in my YouTube backend, I can click a pause ads button, just temporarily, in case there's like an important moment in the stream coming up, such as takeoff or landing. So I must remember to keep a better eye on that. Yeah, not a bad takeoff, Frug. It was there's actually quite a lot of rudder pedal movement going on under the desk. Don't know whether you noticed or not. Especially on rotation, I felt like I had to kind of keep that rudder almost kicked into the wind a little bit. Good. So we're just being held at 4,000 feet now, as per the SID out of Gatwick. So we should have a left turn coming up in a moment. There we go, there it is. At least we know autopilot's working. Okay, so let's just look at our constraints. So we need to be above 3,000 at the waypoint we've just passed. That's fine. We're at 4,000. This next one coming up mid, we have to be at 4. Absolutely at 4. And the same for the following waypoint. So we're held at 4,000 feet until we're cleared to flight level 330. Brian, I've got the Logitech ones. I think they are what used to be the Seasonic rudder pedals, because they're exactly the same as the old Seasonic ones in terms of appearance, I think. Then, yeah, I think Logitech bought Seasonic and then they just called them Logitech ones. So they've got a Logitech badge on them, that's about it, really. They're okay. I think they're about £110 when I bought them. I don't know what they are now. I kind of feel like they were, for that price point, there were some Thrustmaster ones that were a little bit cheaper. They were more like the 70 or the 80, but the reviews said they felt a bit more plasticky, a little bit more scratchy, a little bit more kind of less fluid on the foot. And I thought for the extra like 30 or 40 quid, I'll just get the Logitech ones. Obviously you can spend a heck of a lot more. Like a real heck of a lot more, but the Logitech ones to me seemed like the right kind of product for the right kind of price. Oh, good point, Rob. I don't know. Oh wait, I know what it is. Hold the line. Because the sim crashed, wasn't it? Flight planning, low blast flight. I don't know what it is, but whenever I do a flight to Dublin, it always puts a waypoint like thousands of miles away, and I always have to get rid of it. That still hasn't fixed it. Alright, let's get rid of sim brief altogether. Not sim brief, sim toolkit. Try again. Morning, Lee. How you doing? Right, now we can go up to flight level 330. Mustn't forget that. While I'm trying to get Sim Toolkit Pro to work. Ah, why did it do that? There, that should be working. Okay, 6,000 feet, let's transition. You've got to do both sides, I think, on this one. Yes, you do. You've had a lot of problems, calibration problems, Brian. Found that on most twin props you got dead zone. Oh. I find my main issue is that on the Boeing and especially the Fenix, they just seem massively sensitive. It's almost like I need to kind of make them more spongy. Hey, Clark. Graphics are looking goodly, yeah. We're only running at 1080p as well. I would like to get us to 4K, but I just don't have the horsepower to do it. 4K 60 is the dream, isn't it? If you can reliably get that. For those of you thinking we're going off course because of the minimap, we're not. It's just that the minimap is wrong. Okay, lights off. Oh, Gatwick to Shannon. Yeah, I've only ever gone to Shannon once. I remember it being very windy. Nice route though, as you say. Let's let the passengers out. Not far to go. It's never that far to Dublin, is it? So, as it stands, we are over... Where are we near? Don't actually know. Hey Simon, you alright? Just trying to work out where we are. So our nearest airfield is... We're sort of flying up towards Bryce Norton. Might get some views of Bristol out the left window. We may do. Then it's over the River Severn. Over the valleys of Wales. Then we sort of head out over the Irish Sea. Quite a bit north of like Haverfordwest, Pembroke, that kind of area. In fact, let me just bring over the charts app, you can see it then. So here's us. This is where we've gone so far. As you can see, you've got Bryce Norton. Where's Bryce Norton? It's up here, isn't it? Benson. I feel like I've been there. Fairly certain that's like a military base. Yeah, so here's Bryce Norton. Here's us coming up towards it. We're going to make a left. Past Fairford. Gloucester Airport over here. The busiest non-commercial airport in the UK, I believe. Then yeah, we're just going to nip over the beginnings of the River Severn. You've got Filton and Bristol. I don't know if we'll really get to see much of them from our flight plan. Over the valleys. We sort of enter the Irish Sea. Sort of run up the middle. And we sort of do this classic Dublin crescent shape arrival. And then in onto ILS 28 left, and we'll see what kind of a landing we get, because the whole point of today really is for me to get a bit of practice in. See if we can jump off at Sierra 5. Yeah, we should be able to do Sierra 5. Then we take Whiskey 2, Papa 1 onto Indigo, then... Oh no, that's not an I, that's a number 1. Onto Pier 1. Maybe we'll go for stand 121. No worries, Simon. Appreciate you coming in. Oh, was that where loads of them got parked up, Simon? Like during COVID, there was an airport, wasn't there? Where was it? I feel like there's an airport somewhere in the south of England, where just so many like 747s ended up. It's a shame seeing them go, really. It was a shame. Glad I got to fly on one when I did. Oh, was it? Local airfield when you were a kid. Yeah, it's just sad seeing all those 747s get taken out of the sky. I mean, I get it, like, I understand, but still don't like it. I see that TUI got rid of all their 767s this week. But something about one of them still stuck in Palma because it's broken down. Which kind of makes you think that's actually... I guess that's why they're retiring them, because they're getting old and causing them problems. Oh, cool. I went to... There's an aviation museum in Newquay. We were in Newquay one time. I went to there. Basically, it's at the airport, but it's like a little corner of the airport that isn't actually the airport, so you're allowed on it without any clearance. It's like an aviation museum where they got like loads of old military stuff. And talking to one of the volunteers there, he said they were going to get a scrapped 747 and get a ground power unit so they could hook it up and power the thing up and have people on it, like show them around it, and then maybe do like dinners in the evening and stuff like that. Do little events where they, you know, someone comes on and explains all the heritage of the plane, and yeah, make a nice thing of it. But then the council wouldn't give them planning permission to do it, which is a shame. You can go there and buy scrap parts. Maybe I should go down there and buy like a nose of a 737. I can fully realise my dream of a home cockpit. See if they'll take 20 quid for a captain seat. Oh, you went up a deck. Nice. So when my wife and I went to Vegas, we flew with Virgin Atlantic, and when we checked in, we did like a check-in online. Cheers, Simon. There was the option to go upstairs, even though we paid for economy. But we wouldn't be sat together, so we ended up going downstairs so we could sit together. But I don't think it was like premium upstairs. I think it was just like more economy. It's weird. So I stuck my nose up and had a look, and I was like, this doesn't look very first class to me, which would make sense as to why we were allowed to sit there if we chose to. As it turned out, it was a terrible mistake to go downstairs because we were sat by the cast of The Only Way is Essex. God, they were annoying. There we go, there's top of climb. Everything's looking pretty good up here. So how far to top of descent? Not that long, really. Yeah, it's there. That's okay though. That's fine. Plants in the landing gear. Oh no. Oh, Brian, don't say that. What happens? There's the Severn, the River Severn. Any sign of Bristol down there? Can't quite make it out. Oh, is that it? Is that it there? Was that Filton? That's Filton, isn't it? So Bristol's going to be further out. Isn't it by a clump of trees? Fairly certain that's Filton. Because you've got the M5 that sort of runs by it. That's definitely Filton. Where is Bristol? Is that it? Just too far out for the sim to render it, maybe. Cheers, Adam. Have a good one. So what was the score with the GPU in the end, Brian? I was having a mad panic the other day. I thought my audio interface had broken because I wasn't getting any sound. I could select all the stuff in Windows. I just couldn't get any volume through it. It turned out I didn't have my headphones plugged in. Found the problem, it was a support arm. Oh right, yeah, you kind of get those little props, don't you? It comes slightly loose. Wow, okay. Yeah, I suppose there's a lot of weight on those 4090 coolers. I mean, those things are just absolute monsters, aren't they? Cheers, Craig. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Flight Sim 2020 is looking pretty amazing. Keep thinking back to Flight Sim 98. Yeah, we are very lucky. I never played 98. First one I played was 2000, the one with Concorde on the box. I got a free upgrade to the professional version. I don't know if you remember those shops in the High Street game. I think they're still about, aren't they? Like part of Sports Direct now. Like if you go to Sports Direct, there's like a game inside of it or something. I don't know. Anyway, I remember we just got a PC that was powerful enough. My parents decided, I mean, I was only, what, 10? My parents decided we were going to get a new family PC. And I remember like begging them, was like, if you're going to get a PC, please make it powerful enough to run Flight Sim. So they were like, okay, yeah, fine, we'll do that. And they knew a guy. Obviously, I couldn't build a PC at the time. But they knew a guy locally who helped us. He built it. And yeah, at the time, it's just such a monster of a PC. I remember being so impressed by it. And I saved up all my pocket money, and I was going to buy Flight Sim 2000 with it. And get down to the shop, and I was like, oh, damn it, there's like the normal edition, and then there's the professional edition. And then I was like, I didn't realise that. And then I was like, what do I buy? Which one do I get? And obviously I didn't have enough money. I was just a kid. My parents had just laid out loads of money for the PC, so the standard edition it was. And we got it home, and they'd only give it, 'cause of course at the time it came on CDs, which, you know, DVDs weren't really a thing. And so it came on multiple CDs, 700 megs each. And they had only given us CD 1, because of course through the installation it would stop me like, please insert disc 2, please insert disc 3. And of course I went to put disc 2 in, and it's like, where is disc 2? I think the guy in the shop, you take the box to the desk, then they go to a drawer and get the discs out and put the discs in the box to stop shoplifting. And the guy at the desk only gave us disc 1. I remember my parents phoned up and they were like, what's going on here? You've not given us the full game. And the manager was so apologetic. He was like, I'm really sorry. And then my parents and the manager got chatting, and turns out the manager actually lives quite close to us. So he's like, look, I don't have the discs that you need, but I do have a fully boxed up professional edition, and by way of apology, I'll give you that one for free, and I'll drop it round to your house tonight on the way home. That was like the coolest thing ever. Yeah, I always remember Concorde being on the box of that one. Oh, sorry, Craig, what you saying? I think of buying the Fenix 320. Can you set up the flight plan from the world map, or do you need SimBrief? You don't. You do need SimBrief. I would strongly advise you use SimBrief. Like, the whole thing's kind of built around SimBrief, I would say. But you don't need to pay for SimBrief. So SimBrief it can be confusing. You need an account. So SimBrief is owned by Navigraph that do all the charts. So like this stuff here. Yeah, so I pay every month. I think it's about £9 or €9, and then that gets converted into whatever it is in pounds. And this gives me all the access to the charts. It gives the planes all the latest nav data. So everything's like bang up to date, which is really good. But SimBrief itself is free. However, you are using a slightly older version of the nav data, so you're not bang up to date. But if you're not flying on VATSIM, you don't need to worry about that. And you can maybe make do with just the free version of SimBrief and ChartFox for free charts. Again, ChartFox isn't the most up-to-date charts, but they're near enough. If you're going to fly on VATSIM, though, I recommend you pay for the subscription, because then you get the most up-to-date charts, you get all the latest nav data for your plane, the controllers are using the same data as well, everyone's singing off the same sheet. It makes a lot of sense. But if you're not flying VATSIM, I would say it's not completely necessary. Really nice to have, but not necessary. So yeah, you'll need a Navigraph account, but you don't need a Navigraph subscription. So you don't actually have to pay, if that makes sense. To be honest, Nuclear, I just put in whatever SimBrief tells me. That's the honest answer. I don't know any better than... I don't know any better to kind of argue otherwise. So Craig, it's not for the Fenix, but I did a video a long time ago now. I think it's called like Quick and Easy, Cold and Dark A320. It's not using the Fenix, it's using the fly-by-wire, which is a free alternative. You may have come across it already. And I kind of run through what you need to do there. Although thinking back on it, it's quite an old tutorial and I've probably learnt loads more since then, so I'll probably look back on it and think, oh god, that's a bit rubbish, but it might get you going. Have you tried the fly-by-wire, Craig? It might save you a few quid if you want to start with that. I haven't tried it yet, Lee. The 7879. I've got it downloaded. I've got it installed. I think my biggest issue is that I don't know how to start the 787. I don't know how to do a cold and dark. And I don't really know how the systems work, so I haven't got a clue what I'm doing, so I'm a bit hesitant to actually do it on stream. Until I kind of know what I'm doing, but maybe that's sort of all wrong. Maybe I should just do it on stream and learn with you all. Alright, seeing as we're not on VATSIM, we're going to be lazy and just set the minimum altitude that we need to be at before we intercept the ILS, and then VNAV can take us down all the way. Yeah, fly-by-wire is awesome. We should fly the fly-by-wire again on here. Airplane just shutting down mid-flight. Did you fuel it, Craig? Because you have to fuel the fly-by-wire. I remember I did that once. I think one of the first streams I ever did on this channel, I was like, let's use the fly-by-wire, and I was going to fly from, like, I don't know, Bristol down to Alicante, and I got just over France and everything shut off. I was like, oh no. So I just basically crashed into a field, ended the stream and deleted it from the channel. You're more a 777 guy. Gotcha. Yeah, I can't wait to do some 777 routes when we get that soon. It's going to be fantastic. Gonna do some cargo stuff, I think, because we were looking last stream, weren't we, at all the different routes you can do, because that's what put me off. Yeah, the fly-by-wire doesn't recognise unlimited fuel, Craig. That is the same issue I fell into. But if you use SimBrief, it will tell you how many kilograms of fuel you need to add into the plane, and then you're golden. Yeah, exact same thing happened to me. We've all been there. SIN to LHR. Where's SIN? I feel like I recognise that. Yeah, one of my main concerns with getting the 777 is that I'm really excited for the plane and I'm really excited to learn it and, you know, get to grips with it. But then I was like, yeah, but I haven't really got time to do long haul. I'm not really a long haul kind of guy. But then I started looking at cargo routes, and the 777 gets used for all sorts of cargo routes that are actually kind of short. Not dissimilar to Singapore, of course. That's where my grandparents were based. Changi Airport used to be a military base where they did their national service years and years ago. Which is a funny thing to think about. Now you've got like 777s touching down every couple of minutes where they used to be. I've never been, Craig. I'd love to go though. The guy I used to work for, every opportunity he would get, he would go to Singapore. He loved it. He always used to say how incredible just like the levels of service were. Just really, really incredible levels of service. Remember he said once he was in a hotel and he asked for a tissue. And they brought him some tissues on like one of those like silver platters with like the little dome over the top. And then about like 5 or 10 minutes later, someone came up to him, "Excuse me, sir, was everything okay with the tissues?" I was like, yeah, it's fine, thanks. Yeah, they're doing the 777-200 first, but then looking at the cargo routes, the 777-200 is used quite a lot on shorter hops, so it could kind of be fortuitous for me. Basically, we can do routes that are not dissimilar to what we do now in our A320, 737 passenger planes and start doing some cargo ops that are kind of A, realistic routes in the real world, and B, aren't going to take all day. And it gives us an excuse to get up in some heavier stuff. Out the window then. Yeah, it's still got Wales one side. And almost Ireland in the other. I love Ireland. I want to go back to Ireland. I could see myself living in Ireland one day. I really could. I just love the way everything's just a little bit more chill. Like I've said before, I spent a long time, well not a long time, but several months over there working years ago. It was so nice. Everyone was just so cool. No one was really flapping or getting upset. Everyone was taking everything in their stride. Landing challenges are super bugged. Plane's frozen in midair. The world around the game's moving fine. Oh. What plane is it, Greg? Brian says, another subject on your streaming. Is it possible to let us know when you're going to be on? Most others send a reminder 30-minute notification. I'm not quite sure what you mean, Brian. So what I normally do is I'll schedule the stream. So like this morning I scheduled it at about 7:45 in the morning for a go live of 9:30. I put it in the Discord as well. Are you in the Brian? Are you in the Discord? I'm sure there's someone in there with a name of like Brian or something. I'm not sure if it's you or not. So when you say a reminder, do you mean like a notification, like on your phone or something that YouTube will chuck up at you? Is that what you're talking about, Brian? Because I don't think I have any control over that, because I sometimes get them. But I think that's almost at YouTube's discretion as to whether it feels it's worth sending you one based on prior activity and such and such. Oh, it is you. Nice, Brian. Fair enough. Take it easy, Frug. Get better, mate. I can almost smell the Guinness. Yeah, me too. I tell you what, if you're ever in Dublin, go to the Guinness factory. It's a brilliant day out. Really, really good. I went there thinking, like, seems like a strange place to go for a day out. Especially as I had my younger cousin with me, who was like a child basically at the time. They were like, yeah, you should go, you should go. I was like, really? With a kid? To like a place where they make beer? Is that not going to be like a weird vibe? And they're like, no, seriously, you should go. I was like, alright, fine, we'll go. So good. So glad I listened to him. Like, obviously they explain how they make all the beer and like run you through like the brewing process, like all these interactive kind of things, and they do like tasting experiences. Remember going into this room that they had designed to be the optimal tasting room, so like it was all completely lit, like really heavily lit, completely like white light, and the air was like at a certain temperature to try and give your taste buds the most possible opportunity to get in all of the flavour. Yeah, it's a cool day out. They had all these exhibitions, like all their weird marketing campaigns over the years. Recommend it. But to go back to your question, Brian, I'm not entirely sure if I can do that. If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, if that makes sense. If you're talking about those little notifications you get pinged up on the phone from your YouTube app being like, so-and-so is live or about to go live or whatever. "10,000 feet. Lights." We need to enter our destination data because I've forgotten to do that. Arrival. So what we doing? Runway 28 left. It's dry, isn't it? Supply the METAR. So what's local pressure? Uh, 1007. Yeah, subbed and the bell should do the trick, Brian, but then like YouTube is a bit of a, I don't know, I don't have really control over what it does, if that makes sense. It just does what it wants. Even, I know some YouTubers always complaining, being like, I know for a fact I've got all these viewers that are subbed with the bell rang and they still don't get the notification. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's have a look at some charts. So this is our little route. That's looking all right. Transition altitude is 5,000 feet. What is the temperature? 9, 260 and 10. Right, decision altitude 402 in the Barrow. Good. That was easy. So it's a flare at about between 30 and 20 feet in this thing, isn't it? Are we going to butter this like normal? Oh, Craig, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm very bad in this plane. We spent ages in the fly-by-wire. We got pretty good at that. And then I kind of naively thought, get the Fenix, and we'll be just as good in the Fenix as we were in the fly-by-wire, but I couldn't have been more wrong. I suppose we could shortcut it here, couldn't we? Can we shortcut it to Lampo? Could we do that? We have 4,000 feet to drop in 15 miles. Ooh, I don't know if we can. I reckon we probably could. Should we try it? Let's give it a go. Speed brakes. Right, let's get the old landing system on. Ready to go. I've been using the FSI panel, Brian, yeah, but I still feel very bad in this aircraft. I don't know, I think we'll be okay. I mean, we've got to be above 3,000 at Lampo. I mean, it seems to think that we're actually below profile at the moment. We're committed now. Exactly. Tell you what, let's do 1,600 feet per minute. That'll get us there. Bit of speed brakes. And we've got to get down to 220 knots as well. Yeah, I'm starting to regret this. Oh yeah, it's fantastic, Brian. It's gotten me from incredibly bad in this aircraft to sometimes passable, but there's still more work to be done for sure. That's no fault of FSI panel. It's a brilliant piece of kit. Okay, transition's coming up. It's 1007, was it not? Yes, it was. See, look, we're already at 4,500 feet. What's the matter with you all? We've got loads of time. In fact, let's go to 2,000 feet per minute. Easy peasy. Oh, it says we don't need the speed brake. I thought we did. Maybe we don't. Yeah, I guess we've got the headwind. Yeah, look at that. Easy peasy. Yeah, Fenix is a great plane. I feel like we're in a really nice position at the moment. I feel like we're so lucky. Oh, I need to be at 3,000 feet, don't I? I got that completely wrong. Okay, we need to be at 220 knots as well. I don't like what this plane is doing right now, not gonna lie. Alright, 220 knots, 3,000 feet. Very good. Alright, let's lose the music. It's about to get serious. Alright, 2,500. Please and thank you. Let's get speed down to 180. Very good. Okay, approach mode is armed, just to get the ball rolling. Do auto brakes medium. Speed at 160 until we're 4 DME. I love the way the flaps kind of jump around a little bit on the Fenix. That's a really nice touch. Gear down, just in case we forget Bevy. Alright. Feet on rudder pedals. Got quite a bit of wind going on at the moment, more than I thought we'd get. Got to put the passengers back in their seats. Okay, so at the moment, the plane is basically flying itself. Alright, my plane. Little tiny movements. Trying really hard to not overcook this, like I often do. Sort of doing a little combination of looking at instruments, looking ahead. Of course, the airport decides to reload. Feel like we're a bit low. Been blown to the left a little bit. Not getting good vibes about this one, guys, I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm slowly mucking this one up.
100 above. Minimum.
Continue.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard.
Oh, that wasn't good. That wasn't good. That was a 400-footer. This damn plane. Why can't I fly it? That probably should have been a go around, in all fairness. Yikes. Still, nothing gets broken under over 600 feet. Or under 600 feet, I should say. Flippin' heck. I always seem to bounce this plane as well. That's alright, we've got another chance coming back into Gatwick. We've got one more chance. Now the pressure's on to get the next one right. I feel like maybe, just maybe, I was a little bit sort of, I came down a bit nose heavy, then maybe the flare wasn't quite enough to counteract it. Possible that was the case. Not Sky Dolly, Brian. I use Flight Recorder. Which is similar thing, but a bit different. God, that was a messy landing, that wasn't it? I remember I used to get really upset on stream if I did a bad landing, but now I'm just like, yeah, whatever. It's funny because I feel like I'm better now in the 737 than I am in this, and it used to be the other way around, that I used to fear the 737, whereas now I fear the Fenix. I really do. Definitely going to need some time in FSI panel. Alrighty, let's find somewhere to park. I find Dublin Airport to be really weird to find a gate. Morning, Anth. Thanks. Sorry about the landing a few moments ago. Very kind of you to sub on the strength of that. The Phoenix once again continues to confuse me. Use it to analyse how bad you are. I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Right. Is there room for us over here? I think there might be. Let's jump in here. Is that Air Marshal waiting for us? We've just gone to completely the wrong gate. It's alright, fear not. Gatwick is going to be a beautiful landing, just you wait. Okay, parking brakes on. Let's turn off the engines. Why can't they turn off? There we go. Here it comes. I forgot to pull the flaps up, didn't I? Stupid boy. Right, I'm going to make a quick flight plan to get us back to Gatwick. Give us 2 secs. I'll leave you to enjoy the views outside. Okie dokie. Oh, sorry, Craig. I was doing it on another computer. It's very simple, though. You just select the aircraft you want, type in the 2 airports, and then it generates you a flight plan. So on here, we can now go to the Fenix app, My Flight, import next flight. Dublin to Gatwick. It's looking good. Apparently we're delayed. GPU is on, chocks are on. So what are we taking back? 123. They're just getting off at the moment. I'll tell you what, while they're deboarding, I'm going to go and hop into the house and grab a coffee, use the facilities. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. We'll do our catering service while we wait, shall we?
Catering vehicles are on their way.
There we go. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Alright, I'm back. Okay, so everyone's deboarded. That's good. Let's load the aircraft. So, to any regular Fenix captains out there, when you're on final, do you normally do throttles left in the climb gate, or do you tend to do a manual throttle? Because it feels like, quite often, I'll end up dipping beneath the glide slope, and then I have to kind of like pull back to get the auto throttles to kind of spin up. I don't know, it feels a bit backwards. Because I know in the Boeing, like, generally I'll do, like, manual throttles most of the way down, but it feels like there's such a short distance between the climb gate and idle that it's really hard in the Airbus to actually do anything that isn't climb gate. Essentially auto throttle all the way down. Okay, so, Craig, if you're still there, this is how you do a setup. So I've got my flight plan in SimBrief. The plane is linked to my SimBrief account. So, start with the MCDU menu, take you back to the home screen. ATSU, then AOC menu, FLT init for flight init, then init data request. We just sit and wait for a minute. There we go. So now we've got departure is Dublin, destination Gatwick, alternate Manchester. That's all good. Then I'll click the init button, do an init request, which again, this is all like phoning home to SimBrief, pulling all that data in for us. So much easier than typing it. Very good. Now on the SimBrief website, which I'm just looking at on my laptop, it's telling me that we're cruising at 37,000 today. So pop that in there. It will also calculate the temperature. Also on the SimBrief website, it tells you your cost index of 30 for us today. Flight number, we'll just put not 320 because I don't know what else to put. Good. Then click the arrow to the right. Go to the next page and you can put in your weights. Now, obviously we're not fully boarded yet, but it's this value here and this value here. So we'll do 51.8 if we were taking these values, but obviously they're still in flux. Oh yeah, FSI panel's great. I don't know if you've seen the video, Lee, but I did one all about it. It's really cool. I mean, we can do some stuff with it after when we land at Gatwick, which I'm sure the landing will inevitably be somewhat disappointing. We can use it to do some extra practicing at Gatwick once we get over there, if you like. I'll show you it live on stream. Yeah, I love it. Great piece of software, and actually the dev wrote to me afterwards just saying thanks for doing the video. I had a nice chat with him. Seems like a nice guy. Yeah, it's a fantastic addition to the sim community for sure. Alright, what's going on up here then? So we've got APU available, Ground power's on, batteries are on. I always find it weird when you're not starting from cold and dark. So seatbelt lights are off. Everything else looks like we don't need to do anything. Are we boarded yet? Almost. Oh, the 737's just had an update. Oh, wonder what. Come on. Cargo's done. Fuel's done. We're just waiting for these annoying passengers. I'm looking forward to doing some cargo routes. That's going to be cool. Come on, last one. Let's go. Let's go. Good, we're all done. So these weights now will stop moving. So 55.8, 30.5. So down here, 55.8 / 30. Whoops. 30.5. Put that in there. There they go. Click fuel planning. Yeah, load controller at BA. Load as in cargo or passengers too? Man, like, passengers must be so annoying for airlines. It's like the amount of grief that they cause them. Alright, into Perth. Which now we need to jump over to our departure performance app. What one runway are we using? 10 right. Thought so. Okay, so it's just going to calculate all these values for us. 132, 132, 135. It's easy enough. And our flaps 2, DN 0.1. It's unusual, I normally do flaps 1. Wait a minute. 2. What's going on? 2 / DN 0.1. And flex temp 68 degrees. Jolly good. Alright, flight plan, departure, 10 right. I'm going to use the, what's it called, end, there it is, ND1E. Then into Gatwick. 26 left. Using Dizzy 1 Golf. And we're going to go via Willow. Okay, so let's just check that route real quick. So out of Dublin, below 9,000, below 23,000, and away we go. Of course, it's getting confused. What's going on here then? Why are we doing loops at Willow? Alright, I'm going to make an executive decision that we get rid of Willow. And probably Holly. Because that's just going to get in the way, isn't it? Now if we delete that discontinuity. Yeah, that's looking much better. Let's zoom out so we can see it properly. Yeah, that's much better. Is it alright to post a link? I think YouTube might get upset by it. Basically what it is, we had a load of spammers that came into the chat a while ago. Sort of like all these dating sort of / adult websites would appear, start spamming links, so I had to turn on a thing to stop it. And that got rid of them, but it does mean it sucks for you guys a bit in that it's quite restrictive. So yeah, it may or may not work. I'm not sure. Probably not though, would be my guess. That sounds like a cool job, Lee. Sounds really interesting, that. Okay, flight plan looks good. That looks good. Still 1007. That's good. Turn the landing system off. Okay, what am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting a load of stuff. We've got a flight plan. Done performance. Done init. I think we're good. Let's see if we can get GSX to push us back then. Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to try and post a link. It's just whether YouTube allows it or not, I don't know. And I'm loath to turn that setting off because that's basically fixed the problem we were having with all the spamming.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Jolly good. Don't let me stop you. Not a multiplayer at the minute, 707. Do you VATSIM at all?
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
I'm thinking that's kind of where I'd like to take the channel, really. Get myself good enough on VATSIM that I can hold my own most of the time and be able to do it while streaming. Then you guys can fly along on VATSIM. Or if you're not comfortable on VATSIM but you want to feel part of it, you can do it in observer mode where you get to see us, but obviously we won't be able to see you. I think that could be a nice compromise. Okay, nose right, tail left, please and thank you. APU is on. APU bleed on. Ready for engine start. Let's get rid of the chocks and the GPU.
Release parking brakes, please. Commencing push.
Oh yeah, of course, we talked about it last time, didn't we? Sorry, I forgot. But yeah, I figure if I'm on VATSIM, and if anyone wants to fly along, they can just download vPilot, and connect into observer mode, then they don't have to worry about the stresses of VATSIM, but they get to kind of feel part of it, if that makes sense. Alright, let's get these engines fired up, shall we? Yes, it worked first time. So when I've got this weird thing at the moment, if I try and use like these buttons or these little switches and things here to start the engines, it never really works. If I use my mouse, it works first time every time. Hey Lanky, finally managed it. Glorious. Dreadfully sorry about the landing into Dublin, everyone. That was not my finest moment.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
What is that? Looks like a funky little thing. Yeah, 707. I don't know if you were in earlier. We were talking about I'm putting together a new website. And the idea is that I want to have like a routes page on it. And sort of like download all the liveries for what we're doing.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Just trying to kind of make it a bit more interactive for the community, really. So if you want to fly along in the liveries, you can. If you want to do VATSIM, you can. If you just want to do your own thing in our liveries, you can. Like, if you want to fly one of our suggested routes, you can, but you don't have to. I guess it's like a watered down kind of VA experience, just without the stress and the pressure of it all.
Unlocking gear.
Oh, that's GSX, thank you. So it manages pushback and does like ground services and stuff. It's quite cool, although it does mess up a bit.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear, right is clear.
Alright. I got my lights all wrong for that. Okay, let's get the engine selector switch back into normal. How you doing, Jack? Let's check on the cabin. Takeoff config normal. Only snag for you is time difference. Yeah, that's the trouble. Good. Alright, let's just show you the route we're going to be taking. So we are over here. So we're going to taxi out on... Take 3, then 4... Then we'll cut across to Whiskey 2. Come down here on Sierra and line up. Yeah, sort of a virtual airline, Jack. I don't know. I'm in two minds as to what to do. I mean, I could go down the whole like New Sky route, and I've spoken to the dev of that, who's encouraged me to sign up, and I do want to take a look at it before I make a decision. I think what I'm a little bit conscious of is that I just don't really want any like barriers to entry Because there's a lot of people, I think, that maybe watch the channel and enjoy the sim and would like to get a bit involved, but things like New Sky, things like VATSIM might not be their cup of tea. It might be they just want to get our liveries, fly some of our suggested routes, and just have some fun on their own. Or maybe just fly along if we're on VATSIM. Those that want to fly along properly can. Those that just want to chill in observer mode can also do that. So I don't know. I don't know what to do for the best. Part of me is like, maybe I should just make a page on my website when it's live and simply publish a load of routes, publish all the liveries I have for the fleet that we use, and leave it at that. And just be like, have at it. If you want to just fly in single player with my livery, go for it. If you want to fly on VATSIM, go for it. Don't know. What do you all think? That's exactly it, Jack. Yeah, I mean, if you want to like go down the whole route of like being part of the Discord and like sharing all your flights that you're doing, if you want to do it on VATSIM, then you can. But I'm just conscious that I think there's probably some people that would just like to download the liveries and have fun with it and still feel a part of it, and maybe fly along in observer mode on VATSIM, so they get to fly along with the convoy of planes but not necessarily have the stresses and the pressures of being on VATSIM, because I know it's not for everybody. But observer mode is a really cool way of feeling like you're part of it and getting the buzz of like a busy airport without the actual pressure of it. So it's sort of a VA without being a VA. That's in Volanta. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking along those lines as well. Challenges could be fun. Although I'm not sure I necessarily set the best example for those kind of things. Look at that gorgeous plane. So what does Volanta do exactly? Is that just a way for us all to see each other, see where we are, but we won't actually, you don't actually see each other in the sim, right? You just see each other through Volanta if we're all using Volanta. You see where we all are. You see the convoy on a map, for example. And the other issue is that I don't really want to have to go, well, basically, I can't be bothered to manage a virtual airline. I've got enough going on in my life without having to manage a flipping virtual airline. It's like, if you want to fly along with me in my livery, go for it, but that's kind of as much as I'm willing to put into it, really. Definitely feel it's being pushed around a bit on this taxiway. Sorry for those clunks there, having to move my mic. Yeah, press the like button, guys, then that will make my landing smoother in Gatwick. That's how it works. More likes equals smoother landings. That's why I did such a bad landing into Dublin, because I wasn't happy with the number of likes. So really, it's not really my fault. Ah, yeah, the Tobii eye tracker. This is a long old taxi, isn't it? Basically having to do the whole length of the runway at taxi speed. Valanta, yes, that's it. You see other people who are using it, but you don't need to talk or anything. Wait a minute, you say you see them actually in the sim? Or do you see them in Valanta on a map? I'm confused, as is often the case. Of course I didn't turn my taxi lights on. Almost early. I'll have a cabin crew bring you around a colouring in sheet if you like. Here we go. Hello, Wendy's. Who's Wendy? I'm not Wendy. Hello to you anyway, it's nice to see you. Right, let's hold up here a minute. Get the old lights on. Good. If you're playing multiplayer too, you see them in the sim too. I guess that means they have to choose to also be on multiplayer. If they turn it off, then you don't see them. Alright, let's get to Gatwick and let's get a decent landing under our belt, shall we? In this incredibly impressive but equally infuriating Fenix Airbus A320. I don't know why I'm not better in this thing. I was really good in the fly-by-wire. We'll see. Alright, let's get 370 in the window. Happy days. Alright, everyone ready? So, let's get the throttles up to 40% N1, holding it on the brakes. Let's use the flex gate. See if we configured the aircraft correctly. Just go toga. Said the lever's very symmetrical then. Can do without that. Come on. Oh, stutters. Let's go, let's rotate. Cheers, Dublin. Sorry about the landing. So I can take off okay. It's just getting back down. Positive climb. Gear up. There is our gate. Just down there. Yeah, I must extend my apologies to the runway maintenance team. Levers climb. Let's get that autopilot on. Get some nice views of Dublin as we leave. Does New Sky take a lot of setting up to manage? Honest answer, Jack, is I don't know, because I've not tried it. I feel like I need to check it out and see if it's something that I think would be beneficial to us or not. I just sort of quite like the idea of keeping it chill. If that makes sense. Okay, let's disarm the auto brakes. I think it must be lunchtime for Aziz. So a bit of a different route coming back to Dublin. Not Dublin, Gatwick we're talking about. We're basically heading straight out, almost like with a ferry. Sort of following the ferry route, actually. Almost. So this is where you'd get the ferry, I think, isn't it? Is that it? Holyhead? That looks like a harbour wall, if ever there was one. So yeah, that's where you'd normally get the ferry, I think, to Ireland. And obviously across to Dublin. We're following a similar route, so we'll sort of track across the north of Wales. Then we'll start heading on down. Birmingham, we'll go past Birmingham. In between Oxford and Brize Norton. And then it's made a bit of a mistake here. I don't know what it's doing. Is that like a... Is that like the actual route? Because I've cleared a lot of that now. Might get a view of Heathrow as well. Oh, don't worry, Craig. My name's David. Real weather should be on. Yeah, it's all on. So what actually is kind of fortuitous that you mentioned that. What I'm thinking of doing is doing some a bit more in the evening times, because obviously that's when VATSIM lights up in the evening here in the UK. At the moment, it's not vast amounts on. But of course, I don't really like flying in the dark because it's quite nice to look out the window. So I might sort of roll back the time, but it retains live weather. So even though it's like it could be the sun will be in like 1 o'clock in the afternoon position, the live weather is still the live weather, which is kind of cool. You often get that loop approaching Gatwick from that direction. So is that like a genuine thing then, or is that like a bug? I must admit, I did enjoy it in like the early phase of summer where the nights were really long. There's a couple of nights where I sort of set off at around 7 PM from like, I don't know, Belfast, and then flew down to Gatwick. You get a gorgeous sunset just as you sort of come over London. Yeah, US or Canada would be cool as well. But then the trouble is, because I'd face the same issue, I think, at night time in the UK as I do in the daytime. So obviously 7 PM for me, VATSIM's like alive, generally, UK and Europe. But then US, it's a little bit quieter. But then I guess in the middle of the night when I'm asleep, that's probably when it's at its busiest. Right, how are we doing? Nothing's on fire, that's good. Yeah, Lee, at the moment, Discord is a perk of being a YouTube member. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to keep it that way, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, what it was, I took a lot of advice from other YouTube people, not in the flight sim space, but in other areas of YouTube. And their advice was, if you're going to have a Discord, for goodness sake, put it behind a paywall. Because if you open it up, like the floodgates will open and it'll just be full of complete idiots before you know it. So I took their advice, but it does also mean that it's kind of a bit small but perfectly formed. But I kind of like it for that. It's kind of like rather than just like a giant Discord full of people you don't know, it's like a small bunch of friends, which is quite nice. But if you want to join Lee, you're more than welcome. Like, I'm not saying you must pay to become a member to join it. If, like, obviously I've seen you in the stream a lot. That goes for any others of you as well. If you want a link, just send me an email. There's an email on my YouTube page, like on the little about tab or whatever it is. Email me and I'll chuck you a link over. But what I'm cautious to do is just have like a big link on my website being like, Discord, join here, and then you get like 1,000 randos in there and it's like, what's just happened? One guy that I was speaking to said he had to burn his Discord to the ground because he made the mistake of opening it up, and yeah, it just got so ridiculous. It's weird to think, isn't it, that what we've just done in the plane would have taken like 4 hours on the ferry. What settings are you running at, Craig? Because I just run it at Ultra, more or less. Ultra with some tweaks. We've still got quite a long way to climb, haven't we? Only at 25,000. Grainy fuzziness on the edge. Are you running DLSS, Craig, or anything like that? I mean, if I get close to the clouds, I do get that kind of weird shimmeriness as well. I think maybe just the angle is a little bit in our favour at the moment. Yeah, you can kind of see that kind of artifacting almost, can't you? From a distance, they look fantastic. There's some new GPUs coming in January, I think. Nvidia are going to do a 40 series refresh, because I think it's fair to say the 40 series kind of fell a bit flat on their face. Well, certainly the higher end cards did. Like the 4080 was just far too much money. You consider the 3080 was 650 and then this one came out at like 1200. And it's like, wait, what? Why is it so much? But there's talk of a Super Series refresh, like the 20 series when they did the 2070 Super, 2080 Super, 2060 Super. So if they do that with the 40 series, rumour has it there's a 4070 Ti Super, which is a card that is marginally slower than a 4080 with 16 gig of RAM on a 256-bit bus, which is what we need. Because the 192-bit memory bus on the current 4070 Ti, I don't know, I just think those cards are going to age like milk. Because while the capacity is there, I'm not entirely sure that memory bus is going to be good enough in the longer term, especially when you factor in 4K. Yeah, they do, don't they? I mean, I thought it was basically like the rumour mill just getting it wrong with that name, but then this morning on video cards I read that there's apparently like packaging photos have leaked. So, you know, maybe there's some truth to it. I think there's going to be a 4070 Super, a 4070 Ti Super, and a 4080 Super. Generally, I think when they come out of a Super range, that's a way for them to offer a price cut without getting egg on their face. Because rather than just being like, yeah, alright, fine, we'll reduce the prices, we were wrong, they can be like, look at these new things and look how cheap they are, aren't they great? It's a much better story to tell. It's all about the optics. Because yeah, I mean the 12 gig on the 4070 Ti is fine, but it's just the 192-bit memory bus bothers me. Because the 12 gig capacity is alright, but then the ability to get the stuff out of memory through that narrow bus could be a hindrance. Whereas going to a 256 is a bit more like it. $4090 on Ultra, frame rate is averaging 50. That's pretty good, Brian. Have you enabled frame gen as well? .3080 Ti is more than good enough for flight sim. The great thing about the 3080, 3080 Ti, 3090 is that they've got really nice, big, fat, wide memory buses. I think that's one thing people don't understand, or don't understand. Well, they might understand it, but they maybe don't appreciate it enough. Is that having the memory capacity alone is not enough. You need the memory bus, because the memory bus is like the road out of the memory into the GPU core. So when the GPU core is like trying to access game textures, especially 4K game textures if you're playing at 4K, that memory bus can, if it's not wide enough, can be a severe bottleneck. I wish I had a 3080. I nearly got a 3080. Of course, I built my PC during the pandemic, and I managed to get the CPU, motherboard, all the stuff, the case, the power supply, the SSD, and I was like, I just need to get a graphics card. And Nvidia came out saying the 3070 is going to be as good as the 2080 Ti, and I was like, sweet, and it's only $500. Could you get one? Of course you couldn't. I almost snagged the 3080, but I was too slow, and in the end I managed to get a 3070, and in the end I was like, you know what, I don't care. I have a card, that's the main thing. Oh, Craig, I don't know, I'm not feeling good. I feel like my confidence has been rattled after leaving a crater in the runway at Dublin. So, Brian, you find that frame generation makes the flight deck instruments fuzzy? 'Cause it's my understanding that you can run, so there's DLSS that upscales the image, and then there's frame generation that inserts extra frames, and you don't have to run the two side by side. You could do frame gen with TAA. That way you don't get any DLSS fuzziness on the displays, but you get the frame gen. Flight Director, if I was you, I would wait until January and see what they release with the Super Series. Because I think the 4080 is not worth it at the moment. It's far too much money. But if they adjust pricing and give you a little bit extra performance, then the equation kind of changes a little bit, you know? I bought AccuSeason. Yeah, DLSS is terrible, Brian. I wouldn't recommend you run DLSS, which is the only option I have. So when I briefly had my 4070 before I had to send it back, I would run it with TAA, anti-aliasing, without any DLSS upscaling, but you can turn on the frame generation independently of that, and that was a really nice middle ground. That would get you, I reckon that will get you probably into the hundreds, Brian. You might sort of like 80, 90, 100. But whatever you're using to track your frames per second, so if you, like I do here, go to the debug menu in the developer mode, display FPS, you see I've got mine capped to 30. If I had frame generation on, it wouldn't show in here. Because I remember when I first got my 4070, I turned it on, I was like, right, let's see what I can get. And I was like, it's really bad. Why? I've turned on frame gen and I'm getting like 40 FPS in here or whatever it was. That's because you need to use the Nvidia overlay thing that comes with the GeForce Experience. And then because it's the Nvidia software showing you the frames per second, it can account for the frame generated frames, if that makes sense, whereas the sim can't. Yeah, Flight Director, you can get the AI frame generation with all of the 40 series cards, but obviously the higher cards do perform better. But I just think it's a bad deal. It's a bad deal. And I'm not entirely sure I like frame generation. I like it in the context of Flight Sim, because Flight Sim is a slow moving game. So it kind of works well. But if I was going to play something like Call of Duty or Counter-Strike, or, you know, like a fast-paced I would not use it for that. Yeah, it's fake frame. So what they do, the game engine renders frame number 1. The game engine renders frame number 2. And then Nvidia looks at frame number 1 and frame number 2, and using things like motion vectors and temporal data and a boatload of AI, it tries to make a frame that sits in the middle. So if you imagine like a football being kicked across the screen, frame number 1, the football is bottom left. Frame number 2, football is moved to top right. It would probably draw the frame that it generates, it will put the football in the centre of the screen to try and make a nice smoother image. But yeah, they're fake frames. But they're quite convincing. But what it does mean, because you have to wait for frame number 1 to render, because typically, game engine renders frame number 1, you see frame number 1. It renders frame number 2, you see frame number 2. But in this case, it renders frame number 1, you don't see anything yet. It renders frame number 2, you still don't see anything yet. It renders the fake frame, puts it in between, it then shows you those 3 frames. Which again is fine for flight sim, because it's all very, very... I mean, look at what's going on at the moment. Not a lot. But if I was playing something like Counter-Strike and somebody jumped out in front of me and there was any form of latency, delay, lag in what happens in the game to it hitting my eyeballs, which is what FrameGen would generate, it would cause that delay, then I don't want it in that context. But if it means I can pan around the cockpit and it's a lot smoother, good times, let me have it. And if it means I can run at a reliable 4K 60, sounds perfect. Oh dear, have I gone past stop a descent? I flipping have as well. Too busy yapping. Whoops. Well, that was a big error. Too busy talking about frame generation, went completely past top of descent. I tell you what we'll do. We will hold at dist. Right, speed brakes. Yeah, we'll just sit here for a minute in a hold. Oh, that's funny. Why did it want us at 220 knots? I'm not sure I like that. Let's get us at like 250 at least. Yeah, it's kind of lucky really that the only game that I'm willing to tolerate frame gen on is Flight Sim. That's kind of good luck really on my part that that's a thing. I guess in an ideal world I would replace my 43-inch 60Hz TV with a variable refresh rate monitor, because I kind of feel like I can't reliably run at 60, so I have to run at 30. But it feels very laggy, like when you click buttons, it's like you've got to click and hold for it to register the click. This is a rather wide hold, isn't it? Inbound course 146. That's near enough, I suppose. Yeah, 4K 60 is the dream, I think. maybe with a 4080 Super we can do it. .4080 Super and a 7800X 3D. Yeah, G-Sync monitor would help, because then, like you say, if you're getting like 52 frames a second, at least you can see those 52 frames without it being all teary. Sides are distorted. I tried 4K with a 32-inch monitor. Oh no, Jack, not storm damage. Sorry to hear that, mate. That's no fun. Alright, let's exit our hold. I do wonder whether I'm better off doing maybe like 3 1440p monitors and doing like a wraparound, but obviously like 3 4K monitors, that would be way too much for this. For even a 4090, I think, to probably drive, but I don't know, like, you guys watching, how important is it to you that the sim is streamed, the stream is streamed at 4K, I should say? Alright, so the plane wants to be at 200 knots. I don't know why that is. Because there's no speed limit. But we need to be at 250. So I'm just going to set us back up to 250. Yeah, so everything's 1080p. The whole pipeline is 1080p. I'm on a 4K monitor, but the sim is rendering at 1080p. OBS is capturing at 1080p and streaming to you at 1080p. So everything's 1080p. I feel like if I'm going to go 4K, then the whole pipe has to go to 4K. So the monitor needs to be 4K, the sim needs to be running at 4K, OBS has to capture at 4K, OBS then has to stream to YouTube at 4K. And of course the new 40 series GPUs have AV1 support, which means that I would be able to stream in 4K on my current internet connection, which I would not be able to do without AV1. So AV1 is a new video format. And you're going to see a lot of streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime and all the rest of them start using it because it allows them to chuck across much higher quality video over the internet without the increase in bandwidth. Oh, is that your field of view, Brian? Can you maybe change the field of view? FOV it's sometimes referred to as. I know on like first-person shooter games you can increase your FOV, which means that you can see more, which could be perceived as a competitive advantage. But, like you say, the extremities of the monitor, even on a standard monitor, almost looks like you're looking in a fishbowl kind of thing. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is a hungry aircraft. The Phoenix. All right. We're back on profile. Near enough. So I'm just keeping an eye on this here. Yeah, good. All right. So we're going to use VNav to get us down to, where do we intercept the ILS? $2,000. Yeah, see if you can change the FOV, Brian. That might fix your issue. It's funny, Flight Director, we were saying the other day, well, I was saying the other day, but most people disagreed with me. Given enough time, will the fly-by-wire become better or as good as the Phoenix and render the Phoenix useless? Or a pointless purchase? I said, I guess it probably would, and everyone was like, no, 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 but I don't know. Yeah, I don't think for a minute we've forgotten about the fly-by-wire just because we've got the Phoenix. Still very much a big supporter of everything they're doing. In In fact, we should maybe do a stream in the fly-by-wire again. Alright, let's enter our destination data. So we're arriving at Gatwick. 26 left. Apply the weather. So 1009. So into Perth. Next phase. 1009. Temperature on the ground is 11 degrees. And the wind is 240 and 9. Oh dear. Oh, it's back. Presumably the stream stayed up. Let's have a look at the chart. Oh look, yeah, okay, so it is leave at Willow. So yeah, it's a hold, isn't it? Transition 6000 and refer to chart 21A. How do I get to chart 21A? Airports, charts, approach. Here we go. 396 for the Barrow. Very good. Look at that. Spot on. Amazing. Okay, so it wants us at 249 for the next waypoint, which I can totally get behind. So we're saying at 249 until CF26 left. And 155. Yeah, it's fine. I tell you what, I feel sorry for whoever's going to be doing Dubai Tower when the A380 launches. It's going to be A380s all day long, isn't it, in and out of Dubai? What's that little airport down there? Ah, it's Benson. I'm sure I've been there. RAF Benson, I'm sure it's called that. Part of me wonders whether we're going to see a lot of updates to the A320 once the A380 is out, because I wonder whether they're holding off on the A380 to get the systems to a certain level, and then obviously that will then get shared with the 320 as well. What runway did you use 707? Maybe that would dictate it, because it wanted me to use 28. No, it wanted me to use 10 left, but on my scenery I don't have that runway, so I had to use 10 right. Get out, Rob. I'm not doing that. Dubai to London was bad enough. Although we do have the aircraft to do it now. Horizon Simulations have done the 787-9, which is the aircraft used to do Heathrow to Perth. So we could do it. Maybe at a million subs I'll do it. Oh, you're 28 right. That could have been it then. Oh, I'm tired. I could fall asleep. Is it only 15, Lee? I thought it was 17. I mean, like, genuinely, like, we could, like, if we reached, like, a crazy sub number one day, that would be something I would be up for doing. I'd have to try and plan content throughout it, because I couldn't just sit looking out the window for 17 hours. I could play Call of Duty for 17 hours and, like, overlay the sim in, like, a small little window so we can keep an eye on it. That'd be the way to do it. Looks like other people on YouTube have streamed it before. Man. I do really respect it, like, but I don't think I could do it. Like, coming away from that Dubai stream, Dubai back to London, I just had, like, this new kind of admiration for long-haul pilots. Because it was just a bit boring after a point. Like, obviously talking to the chat wasn't boring, and it was great that those that came along were there, but it was definitely, from a flying point of view, nowhere near as entertaining as doing, like, short hops. What's that airport down there? Farnborough. Anything over 4 hours would be a drag. Yeah, I think 3 to 4 is kind of my limit as to where I start to get a bit bored. And you also see the numbers in the stream go down as well, which is kind of proof that other people find it boring too. Yeah, it's a long old way. Oh, nice, Craig. I will rock my wings as I fly past next time. Do some gambling streams at the same time. Oh, I should go on Kick, shouldn't I? That's all the rage now, isn't it? Kick. Multi-streaming. Stream to all the platforms. Get like 1 viewer on each. It's a guaranteed 10 viewers. Cheers, Lee. We make up for the bad landings with the banter. Otherwise, what would we have? Nothing. Sounds like a Les Dawson joke, that. Oh, don't you dare crash on me. Thought we were going to crash then. Yeah, where would we be without good landings? Here. The background music is Stream Beats, which is like royalty-free music for YouTubers and streamers, by a chap called Harris Heller. There's a very cool YouTube channel where he talks about like streaming gear and PC hardware and all that stuff. You should check it out. Alright, let's do auto brake 2. So what's all this about over here then? Does that like... It doesn't really show us much, does it? Good old Bristol. Haven't been to Bristol in ages. I think the last time I went to Bristol was to see the darkness. Had a bit of a road trip to Bristol. I remember thinking they were going to be like really cheesy and rubbish, and they're actually really flipping good. Any sign of Gatwick out the window? I feel like it should be close. Is that it over there? Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Failing to render. Okay, so 441 feet per minute is the target to beat, which is a low bar, I know, but yeah, Bristol's alright. Quite often fly from Bristol. Quite a big EasyJet presence there, so a lot of cheap flights out of there. I mean, we'll basically go wherever the cheapest flight is. I mean, like London, Birmingham, doesn't matter. Like an extra hour in the car, or 2 hours in the car, 3 hours in the car, doesn't really bother us. Nice little airport though, Bristol. Yeah, that was what we had coming into Dublin, unfortunately. I made a bit of a mess of that one. Here we go then. So when we get to May, it is 1009, isn't it? Yes, it is. Start slowing ourselves down once we get across to May. Yeah, I have a bit of a hard time with this Fenix. That's kind of the point of today's stream. It's just like, I felt like I didn't really want to fly it because I knew it'd be hard and I'd be rubbish at it, but at the same time I just need to get the hours in on it, because the less I do, the worse I become, I guess. Not far now, just over there. Curious what our frames per second are going to do when we get nearer. It's not rubbish, we learn from your mistakes. That's good. I remember when I first started the channel, I was like so obsessed over everything having to be perfect, making no mistakes. Like, if I'm going to put it on YouTube, it has to be 100% correct. And then I kind of just took a totally different direction, and it was so like freeing. It's like you just feel like a weight being lifted. As soon as I was able to say to people, look, I don't know 100% what I'm doing, I'm just kind of learning out here in public, all of a sudden this pressure to be perfect went away, and it made it so much more enjoyable. I mean, you still get the odd one or two in the comments that are like, ah, well, actually, or you're wrong, you're stupid, you're this, you're that. It used to bother me a little bit, but actually, now it's really much more of a, it just counts as engagement, so great, I'll take it. That seems a little bit fast to me, 248 knots at May. And then just round the corner it wants us to drop 70 knots nearly. It doesn't seem quite right to me. As captain of this aircraft, I'm going to get us down to 220 now. Speed brakes to the rescue. Maybe the plane's right, maybe it could do that slow down in that time, but to me that feels a bit not quite right. Yeah, and it should be enjoyable, right? Like, I think the minute you turn it into something that makes it become not enjoyable and stressful, and it's like, why bother? Just enjoy yourself. Here we go. Let's get ourselves down to 183 knots. Come on in, Gatwick, where are you? Okay, spoilers armed. Yeah, I think we definitely could have slowed down 70 knots in that time. I think I was just a bit afraid. Where's the runway? Oh, there it is. I kind of feel as well, like once, if I ever got to the point where I knew everything, it would almost not be fun anymore. Yeah, let's go 160. Approach mode armed. So what do we think? Oh, just in time, grey shirt. We had a 450 feet per minute into Dublin, so now we're coming back to Gatwick. And we're going to see what we can do. My controls. Oh, stutters already. Thanks, Flight Sim. Okay, if the landing's bad, that's the reason why. Just so we're all absolutely clear on that. Gear is down. Just to make sure Bevy's happy. My frames don't feel great. We feel like we're going too low. Okay.
Above. Minimum.
Continue.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 5.
Go on. That's better. That's better. Significant improvement over Dublin. Zorka's grey shirt came in. That's what it is. Right. Hit the button on my Stream Deck to make that into a YouTube short. Too bad I couldn't make that first exit. I mean, I probably could have. Truth be told, but I didn't want to. I feel like I'm home when I'm at Gatwick. I don't know why. So I rarely fly from Gatwick. It's not my home airport or anything like that. Okay, let's cross over here. I mean, you could argue that one was maybe a bit too smooth. Maybe I should have prioritised getting the gear down firmly and in a more timely fashion. But yeah, I needed that. I needed that for sure. So I'm very glad that that all took place. Thank you all. Right, the obligatory frames check to see what we were dealing with there as we came down. It's not doing bad, is it? 30's about right. Doesn't feel like 30 though. Okay, let's get the APU on there. Taxi lights are on. You got wrecked over the weekend. Just over the threshold, and then one-wheeled it in the 737. I did a one-wheeler the other day. I don't know how I did that. It's unusual for that to happen, but... Why is that terminal... Is that building supposed to look like that? Or is it just not rendered? Right, let's head back to where it all started, shall we? 3 hours and 38 minutes ago. Well, that's definitely been a boost to my confidence. I kind of needed that. Like, I know I can do it. It's just can't always do it. I feel like I need to adjust the rudder pedals as well. I might have to look online, see if anyone's got any good settings for the Fenix and the 737, because it just feels like the smallest movement and it's like I'm moving all over the place. Cheers, Brian. Nice to see you again. I'm moving my rudder pedals so little, I don't know if you can feel like the weave that's going on. I feel like I'm just weaving to stay on this centre line. I need to find some settings. I might see if the knowledge base has got anything on the Fenix website. You could feel the concentration. Yeah, the cogs were grinding, let's put it that way. Right, where am I going? I'm going the right way. I need to keep going. Well, thank you all so much for coming along today. It's been a great stream. Yeah, curious to get your thoughts on what you think we should do with the whole VA thing, because I get people saying like, can I fly in your livery, can I do this, can I do that, and the answer is yeah, of course you can. Like, I don't mind, like, do whatever you want. I think getting a website made would be a good idea. Put some of our routes on there that we like to go to. Maybe we could put some links to like like payware scenery for those that want to learn a bit more about that. I don't really use any payware scenery, but I think once I start getting some regular routes, that might not be a bad idea, because some of the airports do look a bit dicey. Bristol in particular. Cheers, Lee. Take it easy. Don't forget to email me if you want to come in the Discord. That goes for any of you. Not just Lee. I've got no issue at all inviting regulars in. It's just I don't really want to publish the link in case we get bombarded by the internet. Have I set up buttons or triggers for the tiller? So what I was tempted to do was to because my joystick here has got rudder twist on it, but obviously I don't use the rudder twist because I use my rudder pedals. But since buying the rudder pedals, it's actually failed on me. Which is a bit annoying. So it gets like spurious input. So I think I need to take the stick apart and clean it, because you can do it. Clean the sensor off. It's just like dust that's gotten on it, I think. Here we go, stand 2-3. That'll do. Cheers, Rob. Yeah, so that'll do like ground steering, and then I guess you would then use the rudders on the runway when you're at speed to steer. I presume that's how it works. Right, what's going on up here? Let's get the APU. Never started that properly, did I? Very good. Just need to wait for that to start. Then we'll deboard and... Just need to wait for this to change to available. Basically let the APU start. I thought I did that, but obviously my click didn't register. So at what point do you know, would you stop using the tiller? So imagine you're lined up on the runway at 0 knots, so you're stationary. At what point would you use the rudder pedals and stop using the tiller? Alright, let's do engines off.
The boarding requested.
Oh, where am I? There I am. Once you enter the runway, stop using the tiller. Okay, fine. Yeah, I guess once you're at speed. So wait, once you enter the runway, stop using the tiller. So like, even when it comes to lining up.
Passengers, the boarding started.
Wait a minute, what's going on here? GSX strikes again. Yeah. Maybe it's my parking. There we go. Line up then, it's rudder. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I should maybe take my stick to bits, see if I can get that sorted out, because that'd be a good thing to do, I think. That'd definitely be a good thing. Right, I'm going to leave the stream there, I think. It's been a very nice morning. Thank you all. Thank you all for your company. Thank you all for tolerating that landing in Dublin. That was not one for the good books, was it? But never mind. We learnt from it, and we made a better job of it second time round, so that's what it's all about. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to wish you all a very nice rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you on the next stream, and I will schedule it so you know when it is. And until then, take the very best care of yourselves. See you later.